All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking an absolutely wild tale from ancient Sanskrit literature. We are exploring the story of King Yayati, the son of Nahusha. It is a story that brilliantly blends magic, limitless pleasure, deep philosophy, and ultimately a massive political crisis. It's the kind of narrative that asks really fundamental questions about human desire and satisfaction, all wrapped up in an epic royal drama. So get comfortable, because the lessons from this ancient king are just as relevant to our lives right now as they were thousands of years ago.
So I want you to start by asking yourself this. What would you actually do with 1,000 years of prime, unstoppable youth? I mean, seriously, imagine having an entire millennium to indulge your wildest desires, travel anywhere, and do anything with absolutely zero physical decline. Well, that is exactly what happened to King Yayati. Through a magical exchange, he acquired the youth of his own son, Puru. Yayati was essentially handed the ultimate blank check of time and vitality. But how he spent it and what he ultimately learned from it is where this story gets truly fascinating. Okay, moving to section 1, 1,000 years of youth, the perfect balance. Let's see how he actually utilized this incredible gift of time. You see, what's really fascinating here is that he didn't just throw away his responsibilities. He actually mastered an absolute duality in his life. On the one hand, unbelievable indulgences. We're talking partying in the beautiful garden of Indra, hanging out in Alaka, the city of Kuvera, and traveling all the way up to the summit of Mount Meru. He even sported with the celestial damsel Viswachi. He pushed pleasure to the absolute limit of his powers. But, and here's the catch, on the other hand, he never once acted against the precepts of his religion. He balanced the partying with strict virtuous duties. He gratified the gods with sacrifices, he poured charity out to the poor, he actively protected the Vaisyas, and showed deep kindness to the Sudras. He even punished criminals properly. The text tells us he gratified all sections of his subjects, ruling virtuously like another Indra. It was, theoretically at least, the perfect life.
And he literally kept this incredibly complex balancing act going for a staggering 1,000 years. He didn't slip up. He watched the proper measurements of time, the kalas and kashkathas, and managed to enjoy unlimited happiness without ever transgressing his religious duties. He had everything completely under control. But, no matter how much time you have, the clock eventually runs out. That 1,000 years finally came to an end. Which brings us to section 2, the unquenchable fire, a philosophical pivot. This is where things get really deep. This is a massive turning point in our explainer. Yayati calls his son Puru back, ready to return the youth, and he delivers this absolute mic drop of a realization. Our desires, however, are never gratified by indulgence. On the other hand, with indulgence, they only flame up like fire with libations of sacrificial butter. After 1,000 years of getting exactly what he wanted every single day, he realizes the ultimate trap of human psychology. You simply can't satisfy desire by feeding it. The more you feed it, the hungrier it gets, just like a fire exploding when you pour butter right onto it. He breaks it down even further for Puru, making an incredible point about the sheer scale of human greed. He basically says, imagine if one single person owned absolutely everything on Earth. Imagine one guy owning all the yields of paddy and barley, all the mountains of silver, gold, and gems, all the animals, and all the women, the whole shebang. Yayati realizes that even with all of the Earth's bounties combined, that person would still not be content. The goalpost of desire just keeps moving. And so Yayati reaches his ultimate hard-earned conclusion. Thirst of enjoyment must be given up. He actually calls this thirst a fatal disease of man, a sickness that wicked and sinful people just can't shake off, a thirst that doesn't even fade when your physical life starts failing. After a millennium of testing the hypothesis, he realizes that true happiness only belongs to those who cast off this thirst for worldly objects. So what does he do? He decides to fix his mind on Brahma and go pass the rest of his days peacefully in the forest with the innocent deer. He is officially done with worldly objects. But of course, it's not that simple. Let's look at section 3, the succession crisis. Because before he can just peacefully retire to the woods, he has to clean up the political situation he's leaving behind. Yayati takes back his decrepitude, and his son Puru receives back his youth. Naturally, Yayati wants to put Puru on the throne as a massive thank you. But societally, the traditionalist Brahmanas are completely outraged by this. By all the established laws of succession, the eldest son, Yadu, who is also the grandson of the great Sukra, should absolutely inherit the crown. After Yadu comes Turvasu, Drahu, and Anu.
Passing over 4 older brothers to crown the youngest son Puru, that went against every established norm. The people demand that the king conform to virtuous practice.
And that sparks Section 4, merit over birth order.
Now Yayati isn't intimidated at all. He stands right before the 4 orders, with the Brahmanas at their head, and delivers a brilliant, highly logical defense. He starts by completely redefining what family loyalty actually means. He defines a true son not by biology or birth order, but by action. One who does the bidding of his parents, seeketh their good, and is agreeable to them. Yayati points out that his eldest son, Yadu, disobeyed his commands. He was disregarded by Travasu, Drahu, and Anu as well. And as the wise say, a son who disobeys his father is basically no son at all. Puru alone obeyed his word. Puru took his decrepitude. Puru acted as a true friend. Therefore, the youngest earned the right to be the heir.
And, if logical merit wasn't enough, Yayati drops his final trump card. He cites the command of the great Sukra himself, the son of Kavi. Sukra had explicitly commanded that whichever son obeyed Yayati would become king and bring the whole earth under his sway. Between the undeniable logic of Puru's loyalty and the divine backing of Sukra's prophecy, the people are completely won over. They admit that an accomplished son deserves prosperity, even if he happens to be the youngest. The societal crisis is averted, and they gladly accept Puru.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the birth of dynasties. So, with the succession securely handled, Yayati finally performs the initiatory ceremonies and retires into the woods, followed by brahmanas and ascetics. But the story of his sons? That was really just beginning, and it would go on to shape the ancient world. These sons who were bypassed didn't just vanish into history, they literally became the founding fathers of major ancient lineages. The sons of Yadu became known as the famous Yadavas, while Turvasu's line became the Yavanas. Draghu fathered the Bhojas and Anu the Mlekchas. And Puru, the youngest who took the throne, he fathered the Pauravas, the very line destined to rule with their passions under complete control.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on. Think about it. King Yayati had the wealth of an empire, the absolute beauty of the celestial realms, and literally 1,000 years of flawless youth to enjoy it all. And yet, he discovered that the thirst for worldly objects just cannot be quenched. It only grows. So as you go about your day, ask yourself this. If a millennium of perfect indulgence couldn't bring ultimate contentment to a mighty king, what worldly objects are you chasing today, and are they truly going to bring you the peace you're looking for? Think about it. Thanks for tuning in, and keep learning.